Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvijay Namaha. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So happily back in front of the camera again, but not in front of the camera, in front of you, whoever is coming to join us today. We are in Thailand at Gupta Govardhan, the beautiful temple near Chiang Mai in the countryside, as predicted by Srila Bhaktisundar Govinda Dev Goswami Mahārāja many years ago, means maybe 2007, 2008, 2009, all of those years, Gurudev giving some reference that in the future there will be a temple near Chiang Mai in northern Thailand. So here we are, and with a good group of devotees, and many, as evidence, you can see in whatever recordings were made, which I think were quite substantial, on the Rath Yatra day, Jagannath Rath Yatra day, which was a very happy surprise for us, for the whole world, that actually Rath Yatra took place. And here we had the news all the way through that the government, through the courts, had stopped the ban that the Rath Yatra could take place. But Jagannath, he is the supreme controller. Jagannath can do anything, and it is almost as though he had a trick, some plan in mind to keep the crowds down, but that make an easy journey for him to go from the Jagannath temple to Gundicha, from the Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. So I'm sure that many of you will have been with us together watching that Rath Yatra festival, watching the deities come out, the procession down the streets, the incredibly quiet grand road that links the two temples from the Jagannath temple down to Gundicha. And we know many are watching because we, in the course of these last few days, devotees say, oh, we watched the king sweeping the street in front of Lord Jagannath. We saw this. And I said to him, oh, so you were there, we were also watching it. Did you see us? We were also present. So you can think that in a certain way, we were watching live the king sweeping the streets. In Italy, they're watching live. In London, they were watching live. In Russia, they were watching live. So in many places where it was daytime, probably, then the devotees, they're tuning in to the internet to see the live broadcast, which took place throughout the day. And it was, if you like, an extra joy to see the programs, because it wasn't expected to happen. So we're all trying to adjust to the fact that, oh, we'll like subtly be following the Jagannath Rath Yatra cart. We'll be reading Chaitanya Charitamrita and following. But this year, Jagannath came out much to the satisfaction of everybody. And so it felt extra merciful for Lord Jagannath. And we all, most of us are aware of Patita Pavan Jagannath, who is just inside the Singhadwara, the lion gate of the Jagannath temple, which is where we Westerners, those who are non-Hindu by race, caste, whatever it may be, but we Westerners are not allowed to come inside the temple. But from outside the temple, we have darshan of Patita Pavan Jagannath. And when I first turned on the computer to see what was happening in the morning, then the camera was on Patita Pavan Jagannath, who we know means a very familiar sight for those of us who've been to Puri. That's where we give our full obeisances from outside the gate. And he's told us he is non-different from Jagannath inside the temple. But then, to my great surprise, then the commentator is showing all the preparations being made for the deities to come out into their chariots. So this is not news probably now for everybody, because you also saw. But my point is, in a subtle way, many millions probably of devotees around the world, they were there watching not only the king sweeping the road, but watching the deities come out as they do in their dancing way out from the temple into the chariots, and then watching as the chariots proceeded down a very, very uncluttered grand road. And so we were together, so many devotees, in the, you can say, the real plane, the substantial plane of the heart, joining that celebration. And even you see the ropes were easy to reach this year. And I think devotees all over the world too, catching those ropes in their heart and helping to pull Jagannath along. So we can say here the daytime was very wonderful. Then evening time, here in the temple, we had a gathering of the devotees who live around and about in this area, as well as the devotees, of course, who live in the temple, and had a very happy family evening gathering. And Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj, he said, please, you come to me. He said, please, you come and you sit with me. We'll sit together on the seats and we'll just have the family gathering. We won't have cameras. We'll just be together because this is a happy day. It is a happy day all over the world, a happy day with Gurudev. Or wherever he was always very cheerful during these days of Gundicha Marjanam, Rath Yatra, and the various extended Rath Yatra, not just one day, this period of time. But as it turned out, when we went into the temple, they did have the cameras. And Maharaj said, yes, a change of plan. But they had the cameras. Why? Goswami Maharaj said the Devendra Prabhu, the devotee who manages the Infinity Media Studio here, he asked him and he said, Maharaj, it will be very good. The world will be happy to see the gathering, what's taking place here. So anyhow, the fact is, we didn't even notice the cameras hardly in the evening time. And rather than being a formal event, then we happily read from Chaitanya Charitamrita, as everybody was doing, but also reading, Goswami Maharaj read a transcript of Srila Guru Maharaj talking about and translating himself the Pranam Sloka for Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, which on Jagannath Rath Yatra Day in probably 1942, Jagannath Rath Yatra Day, Guru Maharaj hoisting the tall bamboo pole, putting the flag at the top, and he composed that Srimach Chaitanya Saraswata Matavara Udgita Kirti Jaya Shrim Shloka. And Guru Maharaj himself, word by word, line by line, translating this, and Srila Goswami Maharaj, he read a transcript of Guru Maharaj's own description about that shloka. And really it was very wonderful. We started at around 7:15 p.m. after the arati of the deities, the evening arati, Sandhya arati, parikrama, Tulsi arati. Then immediately came together and began some talks, some readings. And the first time we kind of checked with the clock, it was 9:15 p.m. It was 9:15, and the time had gone by as though it was maybe 15 or 20 minutes, or maybe 20 minutes, a little more than 15 minutes. But it was a very happy evening program. And of course, everybody invited to also, attend, see that the beautiful devotees who are here, the activities that took place that day. And it also is coincided, or it's part of a time in Thailand where, again, we're able to have devotees come together and in terms of the restrictions slackened to some degree for the gatherings, etc. So it was a very happy event. So this is something from our side. And also a reminder of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. Guru Maharaj, he is presenting Srila Saraswati Thakur. The glories of Guru Maharaj is what Srila Govinda Maharaj is spreading everywhere and all over the world throughout the 22 years from 1988 until 2010 when he disappeared. Gurudev, Govinda Maharaj, using his whole energy to spread the glories of Guru Maharaj, his gift to the world. How from Guru Maharaj everything has been kept in check and balance after the disappearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And this way, Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, the glories being sung in the glories of the Siddhanta, the teaching that Guru Maharaj is presenting to the world. Depth, affection, the pure, only Krishna conscious conception, which has been given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. So again, a wonderful reminder that having the Rath Yatra, the day when the temple established, but having this Rath Yatra day, a very special day, and having this remembrance of Guru Maharaj's whole intention behind the establishing of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat after the breakup of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mission after his disappearance due to fighting over property, chair, wealth, etc. So, history does repeat itself in some ways, but the ideal must always be kept there, and the society, any things which we think are, okay, society consciousness, but our society, it is the heart society of the glorification and following the teaching and principle of our wonderful Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rapok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, as presented to us by who knows him best, our wonderful Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. So, very sweet days following the Rath Yatra, reading Chaitanya Charitamrita and the whole conception of Rath Yatra as given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is not a one-day festival, it's actually a 10-day festival with Hera Panchami coming up very soon also as part of the Rath Yatra Leela. And so here too, the morning programs are continuing with the reading of Chaitanya Charitamrita throughout that section. And even though we are reading every day, it is not always a very fast reading as we go through Chaitanya Charitamrita. So anyhow, these are some of the things that have been happening here on this side of the world. Plus, we have very soon the arrival of Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadut Maharaj, who's now also with the opening up of domestic Thailand, not for international, but for domestic Thailand. Avadut Maharaj is now able to come up from the south of India, cross the different territories, and arrive here to Thailand. So he's expected very soon in time for the Guru Purnima, which is in honor of Vyasadev, and by coincidence, by arrangement of the Lord, also the day of honor of Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadut Maharaj's own appearance day. So Vyasa Puja, appearance day of the Guru, appearance day of Avadut Maharaj, who Srila Gurudev very clearly said the whole of the Russian mission, they must have their regard for him. But without Avadut Maharaj, there would be no Chaitanya Saraswat Mat in Russia. And it is very natural, not only Russia, but the Eastern Bloc countries and so many places with dynamic energy. Then Avadut Maharaj has done so much during the time of Gurudev and also after the time of Gurudev. So he's expected any moment, as it were, but being true to his name of Avadut, not always predictable exactly when he will arrive, but the devotees are all prepared and very happy. And we have here Srila Goswami Maharaj, who's very much the resident sannyasi and guru and spiritual head of the devotees here. And by the Karuna, whatever the name of the virus is, Karuna virus, then we are locked down here in Thailand, and but happily in the association of the devotees here, and being able to be in two places, the Gupta Govardhan, the temple here, and the retreat center where the restaurant, the vegetarian restaurant which is there, is open. The public are coming to the restaurant. It's a very good place for introducing both Westerners and Thai people, local people, and the Western expat population and the locked down Westerners like ourselves who come to the vegetarian restaurant. It's a good place to introduce Guru Maharaj, introduce Krishna consciousness to them in whatever way we can and in whatever way they may be able to digest in a beginning stage. And the farm, Govinda Farm, it is the retreat center. So it is altogether a very active and happy place here in Thailand, even during the lockdown, because the country is opening up and there are many devotees who live here in connection with the various sevas that have taken place, and attracted by the beautiful temple here and the association here at Gupta Govardhan. Also on the Jagannath Rath Yatra day, here on the top of the temple, I can see here, but you can't because it's the other way around and it's through the trees. I can turn the camera around, you can see, but you won't really see very much because it's just a little outside. That is that they put also a new flag on the top of the temple here in Chiang Mai. So this is also the day, perhaps 2 years ago, I'm not sure the number of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when they inaugurated, kind of officially, if you like, they had a ceremony for the temple which is built separately from the ashram buildings here. The temple was constructed a little in Thai style, little Indian style, so that it fits in with the local community. The local people are happy to see the temple. And it's very open, it has no windows, no doors, it is very open, airy and breezy. And the whole of the area, and actually quite a big area, can hear every morning and every evening, and every noon, the arati, but every morning and every evening substantially, they can hear the bhajans taking place and the arati. So here we are in Chiang Mai, and we are remembering and in touch with so many places around the world, not just places, but means devotees all over the world. And we are one family, we are a happy family. We're a happy family because we only glorify the Vaishnavas. We don't look to see any fault. And as Guru Maharaj also very realistic about the material world. No, there's the Vaishnava and then there's the man, or the person, you can say. The Vaishnava and the person. So the person part, if it interrupts with the Vaishnava part, we give our respect there. But we are always associating with the Vaishnava in the devotees. The great wealth of our family is that we have the most substantial guidance and the most substantial connection. So, as always, there are little insects flying around. As always, we are reminding ourselves of this fortune of coming in connection with such a noble, robust, and deep line connection with the highest plane, that plane of Goloka Vrindavan. So lots of things to keep us going, lots of things to remind us. Another thing about the Jagannath Rath Yatra day, it's the day when Srila Gurudev received Harinam initiation. It's a day when we can remember Jagannath Puri. Gurudev received initiation in Puri. He went there with Guru Maharaj. And so Gurudev always happy throughout these days. So happy things are always good for us to hear. And positive and progressive. Positive means we've got all of the guidance to help us. And progressive means we try to steadily follow that guidance. Not to try to jump, catch things, etc., which are, catch things out of our reach, but make our foundation firm according to their directives, according to their guidance. And then we get very worshipable, high indication of the nature in the upper world, which is very worshipable to us, and we keep this on our heads. So this is a little after the Jagannath, after the surprise Jagannath Rath Yatra. In actuality, the date is coming from Jagannath to Gundicha, sharing a little bit of the happiness of the devotees here, and why we should all really try to be happy, not only this time, but to renew our happiness. We're going to be Vaishnavas, we're going to be happy. Renew our happiness, kind of vow that, yes, we are searching for the happy land, not only happy, the land of prema, the land which is only achieved by dedication. Dedication to Krishna through Mahaprabhu. How to dedicate through him? Through the Vaishnavas, through Guru. So Guru, Vaishnava, Mahaprabhu Nityananda, Radha Krishna. This is our wonderful prospect, our wonderful opportunity. And really, we are quite in nature. We see all kinds of life, different forms of life, the baby birds in the trees coming, learning to fly, the parental affection of the mother bird to the little bird, the grieving when the baby is eaten by another animal. I mean, we're seeing this around us everywhere. But we are in the midst of that. But as humans, let us lead a graceful life under the shelter of Guru and Gauranga, learning to dedicate, practicing to dedicate, and hoping that they may accept our service. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Vishvaranya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. And our grand Singha Guru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. All glories to all of the devotees in attendance, all glories to all of the devotees around the world. We are here to serve, and we are here as one family together as we join together in Ratha Yatra to share many of those moments of this year's Ratha Yatra. Let us join together by heart always with the one aim, the one focus of satisfaction of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, with the great grand guardian, founder, Acharya, Srila Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, as the guinea stamp, as Guru Maharaj said, the quality stamp, that Srila Gurudev is showing us in so many different ways his wonderful qualities. He is the great distributor of his glories, and he wants that the devotees will continue to do that. So please, whatever we understand, let us share with others. Let us make unity in diversity, but the unity being at the head of our house, our Grand Master, Srila Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, always on our heads, and not only on our heads, but in our hearts, in our practices, to satisfy him through Sri Guru and Gauranga. Vancha Kaupatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Garadhara, Shri Vas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And a little movement of the camera just as we end.